gloves on. Start putting this together. I'll show you what I did. I went to West Marine with that gasket kit, which was wrong, and I went there. They didn't have the right one. They didn't have anything. So I'm going to use the impeller that I found on the boat. That's still good, and I made my own gasket. Okay, so that goes on like that. And if you don't use any gasket seal material, don't need to for this. Got everything cleaned up. Put that on first. Then there's a couple bolts that we will put on here. We'll clean them up first. Use some Mercury 24C. They say to use Loctite on this. I don't have any Loctite, so I'm more concerned about being able to get these bolts back out than anything. So first off, these two go here. So then next is the impeller. So we got the nylon. We're going to put the key in too before we put the impeller down. And there's a couple different ways of getting the impeller in the housing. There's one I'm going to try first that I've been using, which actually works pretty good. I'll take a little 2,4C and put it around here for the impeller so it's smooth, so the impeller doesn't get hung up. Get a little lubrication. Okay, and then we'll put this down. Okay, put a little on that washer. Okay, then what we do, grease up this key so it will stick while we get the impeller down. Just a little bit on there will do. Get the key on there. There we go. Okay, next is the impeller. Take a little soapy water on it. You want it on the spray. Alright, it doesn't matter which way is up. So we're going to come down with this and get it so it fits over that key like that. We'll put the other nylon washer on top. Get some of that old dirt off of the thing. There we go. Put a little grease on it. The nylon helps the rotation of the impeller on these on the stainless plate and the stainless housing. Just keeps it from wearing out. Come down like that. Turn it around the right way. There we go. Then turn the prop and push down on this so the impeller slides in. I watched a video where the guy actually took his hand and pushed it in and then put it down, but you want the impeller on that key, and that's kind of hard to do. Get down the key like that. You have to, spin it around and try to get it in the right spot. So this is perfect. This way you know the impeller's on the key. You can feel it rotate in there. Okay. Now, excuse my burpage. I just had lunch. So now the impeller housing's on. We'll clean off these bolts, get them started. Put a little grease on the nylon washer. Okay. Put that down there. Put just a little dab of grease on the splines. Don't put any on the top of the spline, because you got two gear shafts that's going to mate up together. You don't want stuff on top, the grease on top, because, and same thing with the top of this, the top of the shaft. Otherwise, it'll hydrolock and you won't be able to get it all the way on. So there we go. Got that one on. Got one more bolt here. And we'll start running these down. And then I gotta go get my torque wrenches. I got some foot-pound torques and I got inch-pound torques. Now you can see the torque pattern here. So number one is up in this corner here. And we're not going to just go right straight to torque. We're going to snug them down in the torque pattern. Okay, 5 and 6. Okay, now we'll go over to number 1 again. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5, number 6. Now we're going to go for the torque. This is 60 inch-pounds. There's 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we go. That's down. This will mate up with the tube that's up in there. This is on. Got some grease on the splines. Everything's good to go. I saw a guy put grease on that, but I don't think so. Don't need it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put it back on there. We need to grease, put some grease on that before we do. Buddy. Okay. This should slide back on because I didn't move that at all for the shift lever, so it's in neutral. This I might have to move just a little bit since I rotated it. But we'll see if we luck out. It might just slide in. If not, don't force it. If there's a gap here, you can't get it in all the way, it's because this isn't fully engaged up there where it needs to be. All right. So, put a little grease on this pin. And put some grease on the upper shift shaft. Buddy. Buddy, quiet. Buddy, quiet. So, what I did is I turned the shaft just a little bit. See if I can get it in there. Stainless bolts and stainless washers. And then you put grease on the threads, they won't get stuck in there. So whoever had this apart last time at least did me a favor by putting grease on the bolts. Okay, that one is up. This one's up. Okay. Okay. That one's good. That one's snug. That one's snug. All right. Time for the torque wrench. Let's go with this one first. Torque this one over here. Interesting, I can't get on that one. So we'll just have to guess on that one. So let's take my wrench and do what I think is 45 foot-pounds. And then we'll get this bottom one, 40 foot-pounds. Sorry about that. Okay, let's torque this one. That's 40. You can hear my wrist snap. Whoops. 40. All right. You heard my wrist snap, so that's it. 40. So I thought there was something wrong. If you have too large a socket, you think you're on it, but you're writing the bottom side of this. So you got to make sure you have the right size socket. It's a 15 millimeter, not a 16. No wonder I was having problems with the torque on it. Bolts greased up. So 5/8. Get it set at 22 foot-pounds. $21, $22. All right, let's get this. Okay, right there. There we go. That's it. Down she goes. Okay, so what we're going to do is put the earmuffs on here. We're going to run it and put it in forward gear, put it in reverse, put it in neutral, make sure everything's set right. Once that's good, then we'll go ahead and drain the fluid out of the lower unit, which I've already done a video on before, so you can watch that if you want. Alright. So I'm going to add to this video, the outdrive, it was actually in forward gear when I put it all together and I tested it, and I went, oh man. So I lifted it, I took the lower end back off, and the lower gear shift rod, I just churned it with my pliers, and I heard it, churned it counterclockwise, because when I went to put it on originally, the teeth weren't lining up with the upper shift shaft teeth. So I turned it clockwise and put it on. Apparently I put it in forward gear when I did that. So I turned it counterclockwise after I took it back off, and I heard it click. And I went, then what you need to do is make sure you test the prop, turn it both ways, make sure it freewheels both ways. Then you know for sure you're in neutral. Okay, so yeah, when you take this lower unit apart, make sure your control up in the boat is in neutral, and then make sure your props turning both ways in neutral before you put it back together, and when you take it off. But I thought it was in neutral when I took it off, and apparently it moved and I didn't know it. If you have more than one outboard motor and you haven't taken the thing apart, that's to be expected. You know, you're going to run into issues if you've never done it before. Okay, so on with the video. Okay, that's forward, neutral, reverse. All right. What I'm going to do is run the outboard in the barrel, get it nice and warm, and use my my infrared thermometer on the engine and see, make sure it's still not, make sure that impeller's working good and the engine's not getting hot. It's actually motor, not engine. Okay, that'll work. So, got my little tap here. Shut it off so the water doesn't drain out. But when you want to get the barrel back out, you open the tap and let the water out. Otherwise it's too heavy. Alright, I'll get this thing filled up. I'll get it warm, and then I'll turn the camera back on with my infrared thermometer and show you what the temperature is on this. We'll let this warm up 10 minutes, and then we'll turn it back on and take a temperature check. So that's it for this video. I used the infrared thermometer. I checked the head in 3 locations, checked the thermostat. None of it was over 90, you know, over 100, I mean. So it looks good. Even the water coming out was like 78 degrees. The heads were in 80, low 90s. Thermostat was like 80 something, 85 something. I recorded it on there, but I had it on picture instead of video. So I figured I'd just tell you what I did. But yeah, it's running nice and cool. So you like the video, please subscribe, leave comments, hit the notification bell. And if you like, give me a like. And let your friends and family know about my videos too. Thanks.